Hello and welcome to my course Getting Started with Angular and Nrwl Nx. My name is Baljit Singh and I am going to be your instructor for this course. I am a freelance full stack web and mobile application developer. I am also an instructor and I occasionally write blog and create YouTube videos. My personal website is baljitsingh.in and you can follow me on pretty much every social network with the username mbaljitsingh. So what we are going to be learning in this course, we will start by talking about what is Nx and how we can create applications with Nx and how we can add new libraries with Nx and how we can use NgRx for state management in our application and how we can build our applications that we create with Nx for production. We will also see how we can convert our existing Angular CLI application to Nx workspace. So what are some of the prerequisites for this course? You need to have a basic understanding of Angular fundamentals as well as TypeScript fundamentals. So without further ado, let's get started. So what is Nx? Nx stands for Nrwl Extensions for Angular. It has been created by a company called Nrwl and they are the team of ex-Googlers and they were also part of the Angular core team. Nx is not the replacement of Angular CLI. These are just extensions of Angular CLI that add some capability to our existing Angular projects. With Nx we can create workspaces to manage our applications and we can also create applications and libraries with it. So why Nx? So if we want to create multiple applications or let's say multiple Angular applications that share some data or some state, then we can make use of Nx. Also Nx is used for building very large enterprise Angular applications because Nx provides opinionated structure similar to the Angular CLI project. So it makes it very easy to work with enterprise large applications. Nx is a monorepo, so every application and every library in our code sits in only one repository, and Nx helps with the architecture of our application, and Nx applications are very easier to scale. In this video we will take a look at how we can set up our development environment before we start working with Nx. So first we need to have Node.js installed on our system. And then we need to have a command line, and I will be using Hyper in my case, but you can use Windows, Mac or Linux default command line if you like. And then we need to have a code editor, and I will be using VS Code in this course. We also need to have Angular CLI installed on our system, and we will also be using Angular console to work with Angular CLI in a graphical fashion. And we also need to have Nrwl Nx schematics installed on our system. Now to install Node.js, we can head over to nodejs.org and then download either the LTS, long-term support or the current version. And we will be using LTS version in our case. And then if you like, you can download that terminal that I was talking about, Hyper, and you can head over to hyper.is. Or you can also use default Windows, Mac or Linux command line. To download Visual Studio Code, you can head over to code.visualstudio.com and then download it for your specific platform. And now to download and install the Angular CLI, you can head over to angular.io and then from your command line you can type npm install -g at angular/CLI. And to download Angular console, you can go over to angularconsole.com and then download it for your platform of your choice, whether you are on Mac, Windows or Linux. And last, we need to have Nx installed on our system. So you can go over to nrwl.io and then you can click on Get Started Guide. And here first you will see you have to install the Angular CLI globally. And at last we can install Nrwl schematics globally on our system. So on our command line, first we can install Angular CLI. So we can type npm install -g at Angular/CLI. And after this is installed, we can install Nrwl schematics. So we can type npm install -g at Nrwl-schematics. In this video, we will take a look at how we can create a new NX workspace. So we can open the command line in the directory of our choice, and then we can type create NX workspace. And after that, we have to pass a workspace name. And in my case, I will be using NXT, and that is NX tutorial. So now we can press enter, and it will create the new workspace for us and install the dependencies required. Now, after the workspace is created, we can change the directory to our newly created workspace, and then we can open the project or the folder inside our editor, which is VS Code in my case. So here on the left hand side, we can see the file structure of our NX workspace. So here first we have apps where we will put our applications, and then we have libs directory, and here we will put our libraries, and then we have this node modules folder where all our dependencies related to the workspace are installed. Also, if you see closely, the NX workspace folder structure is very similar to our Angular CLI project, and if we can put it side by side, and you can see the difference. Now here on the left hand side we have our NX workspace project, and on the right hand side we have our Angular CLI project. And if I collapse that, you can see the project structure is very similar, and we have all these tslint file, tsconfig, and Angular JSON file, and all the similar files. But what is different is we have this source directory here inside of our root in the Angular CLI project, but in our NX workspace, first we will have to create an application, and then we actually have to create the libs, or actually we can put our application inside of apps entirely, but we shouldn't do that, and we will see it in the coming videos. So now we can maximize this screen of ours, and let's first see how we can open this project of ours inside of Angular console. So here inside of Angular console, we have this getting started page, and here we have two options. Either we can create a workspace that we have already done, or we can open the workspace. So we will use this option, and then we have to choose a directory, and we will go to our desktop, and here we can select our project. So this is the one I'm using, NXT, and now we can click open. And here you can see currently we are seeing it blank, but when we create new applications it will appear here, and then we can generate the code for these applications. In this section we will take a look at how we can create new applications inside of our NX workspace. So here inside of our Angular console, we are currently in the NXT project, and we are in the projects tab. So we can go to the generate code tab, and then we can click on the application, and here what we can do is we can pass the application name, so that can act as a standalone application. So I will create first the admin application, and then I won't put anything in directory, and then I can click on optional fields, and here I want to enable the routing. And for the style, I want to use SCSS, and if you prefer CSS, you can just skip that, and all looks fine to me. And now we can click on generate, and also before doing that, you can see in the bottom we are already getting which files it will generate, so that is very helpful. So let's click on generate, and then it will generate a new application. So here inside of our VS Code, if we expand the apps tab, and here we can see we have our admin application, and we will also have that admin E2E folder here. Also, if we expand this admin folder, you can see this is very similar to our Angular CLI project source folder. So then we can actually close this for now. And then if we open angular.json file, we can see under our projects object, we have added that admin object. And then we have this admin E2E folder or the project over here. So what we can do is, if we want to change the configuration related to our project, we will change it here. So for example, if we want to change the source root, so instead of apps admin source, so we can change it to the code in our application. So in that case, we have to change this source to code. So I won't suggest that. So this is just an option. And then the next file it changed is nx.json, and in here we have this project array or the object again, and here we have added this admin and admin E2E. So this will act as a short name, and we will see when we further develop our application and how we can use that. And now to run our application, we can open the terminal inside the VS Code, or you can click on terminal and then new terminal, and here we can do ng serve, and then we have to pass the project name. In our case, the project name is admin. So now this will build the project, and I can actually close that. And if you want to see the project name, we can actually use this name, or we can also see the name here inside our angular.json. So now if we open our terminal again, and we can see our project has been built, and then we can open our project by following this URL. So we can go to our browser, and then we can type localhost 4200, and then this should show our admin application. In this video, we will take a look at how we can add NgRx to our NX workspace application. NgRx is a state management library for Angular, and if you are using NX workspace, you are probably familiar with NgRx. And here in the Angular console, you can see we have created that admin application. And now to add NgRx to this application, we can click on generate code tab here, and under the Nrwl schematics, we can click on NgRx, and here we have to provide the name, and I will use the name app. Also in the bottom you can see the command it will generate or run, and then for the directory, this won't matter much because we will add the NgRx to the root of our project. And for the module, so we will select app module.ts inside of our admin directory or the admin application. And now we can click on optional fields, and first we will select root here, and then we will select only empty root, and the other parameters looks okay. And now in the bottom you can also see the command it will run and the files it will generate. So now we can go ahead and click generate, and then it will create these files and add NgRx setup to our admin application. Now after it is finished, we can go to our editor, and let's close the terminal for now, and then we can click on our source control directory to see the files it has changed, and it has updated our 3 files. So the package.json file, and it has added NgRx store and NgRx entity, and it has also updated package log.json and then our app module. So if we open app module.ts file, so this is under admin source app and app module.ts, and here on the right we can see the generator command actually added the imports here for us, and then the setup for the NgRx is done automatically. And now as our application is already running, and we can go to our browser, and here we can open the developer console, and inside of the developer console we can click on our Redux tab. so that won't be visible by default. You first have to install the extension called Redux DevTools, and then after it is installed, you can click on the Redux tab here, and then here you can see we have already set up our NgRx in this application or in this workspace. In this video, we will take a look at how we can generate another application inside our NX workspace. So inside our Angular console, and then under Generate Code tab, we can click on Application again, and then we can pass the name. In this case, I want to use client, and I won't pass a directory here. And for the optional fields, let's see, I want to select the routing, and then for the style I want to use SCSS, and all else looks okay to me, so we can click generate here. So now this will go ahead and then generate a new application. Now after it is finished creating the application, we can go back and then we can add NgRx to our application. So for the name I will again use app, and also the state directory won't do much in our case, so because this is a root. And then we want to select app module inside our client directory or client application. And for the optional fields, I will first select root, and then I will select only empty root, and then we can click on generate. So this will also set up NgRx for our client application. Now after it is finished, then we can go to our code editor and then see the files created or updated. So first we can go to our apps, and here we can see we have our client application and client E2E or end-to-end. So this is very similar to our admin application. And also if we go to our angular.json, and we will actually close that, and then you can see the client has been added inside of our angular.json, and similarly client E2E. Also if we go to nx.json, and again we have client and client E2E added here. As we have also added NgRx to our client application, so if we go to client source and app, and then go to app module.ts, we can see we have these imports here, and then we also have this setup for NgRx for our client application here. In this video, we will take a look at how we can run multiple applications inside our NX workspace at the same time. So first, if we collapse this, and then we will open the terminal here, we can see we are already running our admin application. And if I open the new terminal here, and to run the new application, so if we go here, we can see we have this client application. Also if we go to angular.json, we can see we have admin and the client application. Now to run the client application, we can do ng serve and then the application name, so that will be client. So now this will go ahead and then build the application. So here we are seeing we are getting port 42 is already in use. So what we can do is we can go ng serve client, and then we can do port equal to 4201. So this will also work. Now this will go ahead and then build our application, and then it will run on port 4200. Now that it is finished, so we can go to our browser, and here we can see our admin application is already running. And now if we go to localhost 4201, and here we can see our client application is running. So now both the applications are running at the same time, and we can work on each one of them simultaneously. But most of the time we will work with only one application. Now here in the editor, we can see we have run this command ng serve client, and then we have to specify the port. We can also specify the default ports that our application uses. So if I actually close this terminal, and then I go to our, actually first let's go to admin application, and here inside of our serve object, we can pass a port here, and then let's set the port to 4200 here. Actually, I think it should go inside of the options, so let's add it there. All right, and let's actually copy that, and let's go back to our client application, and again inside of our serve options we have to add this port, but here we will use the port 4201. So if we want to use another port, we can specify it here. So but I want to use 4201. Now if we open our terminal, and let's maybe kill the terminals and let's open it again, and now if I do ng serve admin, and now this will build the project, and in another tab I can do ng serve client, and this will build the client project for us. And we can already see we didn't specify the port here, and it is already taking that 4201 port. And if we go to the first tab, and that admin application is taking the 4200 port. And here in the browser we can see our admin application and the client application are running fine. In this section we will take a look at how we can create libs inside of Nx workspace. In the Nx workspace application, most of our application logic sits in the libs. So let's see how we can get started with libs. So inside of Angular console, currently we can see we have two applications, admin and the client application, and now we will see how we can add a lib or library to our admin application. So if we click on generate code, and then we can click on library, and for the library name I want to use dashboard, and for the directory inside of our libs directory I want to create admin. So our lib will be directly under libs, and then admin, and then dashboard. And then after that, in the optional fields we want to select routing, and again we have to select the parent module. Okay, so currently this is not showing as a select dropdown. Maybe there is something wrong, and if it doesn't show up, then you have to add it manually, but it should probably, or most probably should show as a drop down in your case. And then we can type our admin module path. So then we can do then app, and inside of app we have our app.module.ts file, and then after that we can click generate, and then it will create a new library inside of our libs directory. After it is finished, we can head over to our editor, and now if we open our libs directory, and under admin we have that dashboard library. So here we can also see this is very similar to our apps directory, and the one thing that is changed here is that under the source directory we have that libs directory, and here we can add our modules and components, and also we have this index.ts, and it is also called barrel, where we can export our modules from here. Similarly, if we go to our apps, and then we open admin, and under source in the app module we can see we have imported that admin dashboard routes, and then we are specifying the route here under router module.for root. And when we go to our admin application /admin dashboard, it should show the admin dashboard routes for us. In this video we will take a look at how we can create a component inside of our dashboard library that we have just created. So currently we are in the projects tab in the Angular console, and on the bottom we can see we have this admin dashboard library. So we can click generate component here, and the component we want to generate is dashboard view. So that will be responsible for showing us the dashboard template, and then we have to select the project. So we have already selected that when we click generate component, And for the module, we want to select our libs admin and then admin dashboard module.ts. And we don't want to export that, and in the optional fields we can select if we want inline style, template, and for the style extension I want to use SCSS, and yes, we want to generate the spec file. Alright, so this seems okay, and in the bottom we can see it will create a component inside our libs admin dashboard source lib and then dashboard view. So now we can go ahead and click generate, and then it will generate this component, and it will also update our admin dashboard module inside our dashboard lib. Now here in our editor, if we click on source control, and we can see we have these 4 files created and then this one file called admin dashboard module updated. So now if we see inside of our libs admin dashboard source lib, we have this dashboard view component with the 4 files, component.html, component.scss, then our spec file for testing, and then the TypeScript file for our component. And now if we go to our admin dashboard.module.ts, so we can see we have also updated it with here in the declarations array. And now first what we need to do is we have to specify the root path. So what we can do is we can specify the path here, and then we have to specify the component, and the component we will be using is dashboard view. Alright, and make sure to add this import statement. If you are using VS Code, it should add it automatically. So now if we go to our dashboard view component, we can see we are getting here dashboard view works. And the last thing we want to do is we want to import our admin dashboard module to our app module inside of our admin application. So here in the apps admin and then source app, then app module, here inside of our imports array we can add dashboard admin dashboard module, right? So here we can see if we go to admin dashboard, then it should open or use our admin dashboard routes, and if we go to admin dashboard routes in the library, we are specifying our routes for the application. And now let's run the application. So we will run our admin application, so we can do ng serve and then admin. So now it will build our application and then we can run it. And now our application is running on port 4200. So in our browser we can type localhost and then port 4200, and first it should show our admin application. So this was the root path, and now if we go to our admin dashboard, and on the bottom we can see we are getting dashboard view works. And similarly if we go back and we are not getting it in our root page, we will only be getting it when we go to our admin dashboard route. So the routing works.